you've gone on record, LBJ and Michael Jordan. Talk a little bit about that and why you feel the way that you felt. I saw it on ESPN. Everyone wants to talk about it. I'd love to hear your take as to, the LeBron James, Michael Jordan comparison.
Well, so first of all, in most of those kind of arguments in any sport, what I'll usually start with is you go ahead and pick who you want. And I'll be very happy with second choice. Like, LeBron, Michael, okay, who do I get? I get one of them? That's good. Because a lot of times you get like 20th choice, and then you got to go out and beat those guys. So I'll take either one.
Yeah.
But I have said that I think LeBron to this point is the best player in the history of the league, at least among perimeter guys. Somehow the big guys always get left out. But among the perimeter guys, and look, to me, the first part of it is really simple. Like, players have just continued to get better over the years. Like, that's evolution. That's what it is. Players get better. So, like, people are trying to compare the Bulls teams with players today. No, they would not win a championship today. They would not. They would not win any. Not in my opinion. The players are better now.
Right.
They're better. That's not to demean anything they did. And Michael Jordan would still be a great player now. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I look at them, and I'm saying similar positions. Look how much bigger LeBron James is. Look how much faster LeBron James is. I mean, the game has changed. Like, one of the things that jumps out to me is when you turn it on is you go, oh my gosh, I mean, look at the bodies on these guys. I mean, the players are better. Now, there are some things that argue for Michael Jordan on the other side. I do think, in fairness, the game was a lot more physical then. Not necessarily early on in his career. Like, you look at some of those scores and you're going, like, is anybody guarding anybody at that time? But it certainly as he got into the mid-'90s, like they're talking about how the Pistons shut him down and the Jordan rules and the whole thing. And I'm like, let me go back and look that up. The year before Chicago finally won, and he averaged just under 30 points a game in that series. And to put that in perspective, not a single game in that 6 games did the two teams combine for 200 points.
Right.
So he's getting out in nothing. And that is supposedly a team that locked him down,
right.
With the Jordan rule. And so my brother has said, and this is a fair point, what would Michael Jordan do with today's rules where you can't hand check anybody, can't have any contact, and there's more space on the floor because everybody plays more shooting? Right. Yet the one thing in Last Dance the other night, they're showing, a game where, they had made the point to Phil Jackson had made the point to Michael, who's open?
Right.
Paxson's open, throwing the ball. And they're talking about how many shots he made. Well, you watch him. He's stepping in, making 18-footers, which is great.
Right.
But now those would all be threes.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan would get correspondingly more room.
Right.
But my argument for LeBron is not that he would score at the level of Michael Jordan, or maybe even Kobe Bryant. I think those guys are better scorers. I think Kevin Durant's a better scorer than LeBron James. But I think LeBron being a true point guard at that size and being able to make plays. And I think for a good part of LeBron James' career, we forget some of the teams he carried to outstanding records, and into the finals, like in 2007. I mean, until he got to Miami, I mean, he's not playing with another Hall of Famer.
Right.
And yet he's carrying teams to 60-plus wins and going to the finals and making some of those guys look pretty darn good. Right. And he was a first-team all-defensive guy. His defense has dropped a little bit with age, but man, I mean, so I would give him we're talking guys like that. I mean, you're talking about I'm giving him that much of an edge, and a lot of it is because it's 20 years later and the game's 20 years the players are 20 years better than they were then. It doesn't mean that the stars from then wouldn't be able to play now, but the stars now are playing against better other players than the stars then were. I don't want to mention any names and demean anybody from the 90s, but there's some of those guys I'm watching play big roles on good teams that I'm saying, that dude's a 12th man now. Yeah, he's a 12th man. He's not getting off the bench for anybody now, and so I give LeBron a slight edge, but slight, and certainly not to demean Michael Jordan at all.